All right, guys, today we're going to talk about something. We had this air cylinder. It was underneath the chassis on a truck, and because of what it does, one of the pins seized in the aluminum. It happens all the time. So the problem was, how do you get it out? There was a lot of hoses, air lines, hydraulic lines, and it was real tight. So you couldn't get a good swing at it with a big hammer. They did try to pound it, but it just stopped. So what I ended up doing, because they were talking about putting the torch, but then they were worried about things catching on fire, damaging some of the airlines. But the most important thing was a def tank was like right next to this. So if you use a torch, you can screw up that def tank. And right now I think def tanks are hard to get. So what I ended up doing, they called me and they called me over there and say, hey, what do you think can we do? It was a younger technician, and I told him, well, let me see what I can do. So what we ended up doing is we ended up cutting it out with a cutoff wheel, which is kind of surprising me because a rotary tool can do so much. So here's your standard cutoff wheel, 3-inch, and then here's what you can get, which I got some right here. These are from Amazon, 4-inch. And as you can tell, the difference is a lot. I mean, you could tell the difference is a lot. So what happens is you put a 4-inch, then you go ahead and you come on up with your wheel, and then you can see how much we can get in there and cut that thing off. The sparks were controllable because we get in there with a die grinder. It was manageable. But I guess what kind of struck me was the technician didn't have a die grinder because, you know, these guys, they either torch or beat something out. And then here's another assortment of things. If you're a new technician, I highly recommend this. Cut off wheels in different diameters, buffing wheels for bushings, whatever. These come in real handy, polishing shafts, whatever. And then of course, you always got to have your carbide bits. And if it's metal, if it's plastic, if it's whatever, this thing will cut it. I've cut lug nuts off. Don't ever use a torch on lug nuts. You could explode the tire. And if you do use a torch, you could warp the rim. There's just so many things that can go wrong. It takes a little bit longer, but you can cut them off with the carbides. I guess my thing is I've seen people get removed from this earth by using a torch to cut a lug nut off a tire. So I'm not a big fan of it just because I've seen it firsthand. And but anyway, back to this. You know, sometimes you just got to think outside the box. Cut the air cylinder, you know, got it out, and we put a new one in, and down the road she went. This side too, we got it out. But then when, like, the centerpiece, once we got it out, I was able to get in there with a small air hammer, and because this is where it seized, not here, it came right out. So anyway, think outside the box, and then of course maximize your accessories for your die grinder, because if you stop and think, these things do a lot of stuff. I don't have any grinding, I mean, these are cutoff wheels, but I do have like the sandpaper ones. I have some of those somewhere. They're good to have. But anyway, hey, leave a comment,